welcome to Thursday Night Faz Radio Live with the one and only Jesse Hynes. How you been, man?
Hey, I'm great. You're up the music game since the last time I was here.
I know.
Yes, Faz had that redone professionally. Holy cow. Hey, it's been a long time since you've been with us, Jess. How you been?
Oh, I've been good, really good. How about you?
Yeah. Fantastic. When we talked last week, I was really excited when we can get you on here. What you're doing is like absolutely fantastic, and I don't think a lot of people really understand like what it is that you've managed to put together and done so quickly. So tonight's show, once we jump onto the regular show, I think people are going to be absolutely amazed when they learn the details of what's going on. I know Nate is beyond excited. I was talking to him when I was in Portland visiting with them a couple of weeks ago. He understands it because he's from the industry as well. And holy cow, man. How did you come up with that? We'll talk about this on the show too, of course, but was this something that just popped into your head, or you thought about it for a long time?
Yeah, I think it's just been something that has always been in my mind for a while, especially because, it's been extremely important to me for the longest time that the regular individual, hasn't been able to get access to investing, the same kind of access that the 1%, the rich, the people with millions of dollars have access to. And that's always been something that I've cared about. And I've participated in platforms like this before where, even though you're not accredited, you don't have millions of dollars or whatever, you can get into early stage investing. But it was really, cryptocurrency and blockchain that took that whole idea of like bringing investing in a sense to the public, where a lot of people can buy into projects in different senses, whether it's they're buying tokens, buying NFTs, buying whatever, and helping to support that project and feeling like they're part of it. It's just kind of like the perfect storm of me always being passionate about that, plus blockchain, and then figuring out what I really wanted to do for myself, going forward. It just made sense.
I have a question. Are we do we know about all the partners? I've heard something about some of the partners, but is that something we could talk about on the show?
So there's only one announced partner at this point. There are others that we're working with, but we can only talk about one at this point because of embargoes and things like that. And they're Astrals. They're a company that is an entertainment company at using the XRP ledger. Right now it's starting with like songs and artists and things like that, but I know that they have bigger goals in terms of the entire entertainment industry.
I was thinking about the partners that we're working with. Seed Starter, Nate was one of them, and I think
the advisors,
advisors or founders. Yeah. Are they founders or advisors?
No, they're advisors. Yeah. Well, so Seed Starter does have a partner that we have a couple of partners, and those are like companies that we're working with, and the one that's announced is Astrals. But we also have advisors who are individuals who are basically advising me, people who I looked at and I said, I want to make sure that, I have close connection with them and they can offer me, a lot of advisory roles and just their experience in the industry. And we have a good deal at this amount. I think I've only announced 6 of them. And in fact, there's going to be another announcement coming tomorrow. But the 6 are, Nate is one of them. So Forged in Crypto. You have Crypto Airy. She's another one. You have Doc, a lot of people know Doc from Gala, Derek Jarvis. You have, oh gosh, I'm going to forget them all right now. Let's see. You have a company called Audacity, which I believe you guys have had Audacity on your show before. I'm a big believer in what Simon and Raoul are doing. Oh my gosh, people are going to be mad at me I wasn't ready for that question. There are 2 more that are announced. And the reason that I'm confused is because I have 3 that I've unannounced that are tomorrow, and I'm just trying to make sure that I don't say the wrong names.
That's funny. Yeah, you'll out them early.
Oh, well, obviously, you have Jeremy Hogan and Bob Way. Yeah, those are the other 2 that I announced.
Bob Way is the one that I found very interesting, actually, because I know that he's like a software developer, isn't he?
Yeah, and he was an early Rippler,
Right.
one of the
Right.
early employees at Ripple, and he's now I think the chief product officer at what's the name of the it's in Ripple XRP related metaverse, Expector.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was reading. Bob just posted something on that today. I was reading it.
I hadn't heard a lot about him since reading about him regarding the XRP, how XRP started and stuff like that. So that one I find very interesting because I know that's a very smart guy.
Yeah. We also, there's a couple more that I'm announcing tomorrow. One that, I'm excited about all of them, but I think one that people are going to be very familiar with, and I could probably say his name now because he already knows and he's looked at it, but I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with Ron Hammond, but he's with the Blockchain Association. He worked at Ripple for a period of time, and he was on the team that wrote the original Token Taxonomy Act, if you recall that.
I remember that.
I was a big fan of that, even though it never went through.
I stopped that one for my senator in Oregon a long time ago.
Yeah. So he's now at the Blockchain Association, and he's a really great guy. And I'm really excited to have him and the other two, that I'm announcing tomorrow on board as well.
That's awesome. Well, this is our premium channel, so only the premium members know about this. We can let you decide whether to announce it on the regular show or not.
Okay. Yeah, it's all fine. They all know, and it's coming out tomorrow. So.
Oh, great. So there's a lot to kind of prep for this. There's a lot I don't know about SeedStarter. I've heard little bits and pieces. I know that you have a Discord that you've sworn people to secrecy on. So I've only heard some bits around the edges. It sounds like a really neat idea that nobody else has been doing. If they have been doing it, I haven't heard of anyone doing it.
Yeah. Well, first, just so you know, the Discord's now open, so no one needs to NDA anymore. But there was an NDA period. So it's the general idea of what I'm doing. It's a funding portal. And that was created by the Jobs Act, by a regulation that was passed called Regulation Crowdfunding. And that was specifically aimed at creating opportunities for unaccredited investors to to be able to invest in startups before they went public, because that's where all the money's really made. Is if you can get in day one, it's where all the risk is, because most companies don't succeed. But if you get in day one, pre-IPO, when they IPO, especially if you find a unicorn, you can really, really, change your wealth overnight with just one investment. But it wasn't this massive opportunity until maybe 2 years ago, where they changed the amounts, because for a period of time, a company could only raise $1 million a year or so through Reg CF, which really isn't, it's a lot of money to a regular individual, but to a company that's really trying to start off and create something, $1 million isn't that much runway. And they recently changed it to 5 million. And from what I hear, they're actually talking in Congress right now about bumping it up to 10 to 15 million a year. But what I can say is that there are a couple of companies out there that are doing it. There's Republic, there's WeFunder, and there's another that Seed Invest, I think, that are doing it and have been doing it very successfully for years. But none of them are really, really going into the crypto and blockchain industry.
So I have a related question, and I probably should ask this on the cast as well, but is this anything like Link2?
So no, because Link2 is more like, Link2 happens pre-IPO, but after a company has gotten at the very minimum, like a round of investment, and people have stock and they're trading that like pre-IPO stock. Whereas this is like early stage investing. Often this might be the first investment, and what you're getting might not actually be stock, but a promise for stock in the future based on an event that happens, whether it's going public or taking further investment and things like that.
Okay. I figured it was different, but I just wanted to get that out there just to make sure.
Yeah, we'll probably rehash some of this in the show for people, but I saw that article about raising those limits. Does that have to cause you to to change your compliance model at all? I was wondering that when I saw the article.
No, it would just open opportunities for more companies because even 5 million, I mean, 5 million's a lot, right? And it's a year. So like not a calendar year, but if you can't raise more than 5 million for 12 months. And that's usually enough for most businesses, right? But some businesses, 5 million really isn't enough, especially if you're in the tech startup space.
Right.
So it's just about making it more available to more companies. But compliance, it's the same.
Okay. Because when I was at TD, which is now Schwab, when we would hire on the advisory firms, we would have to go through a compliance audit if they had, certain levels of investing money. So I was just kind of curious if that was going to affect you at all, because the more that you have the assets under management and you take on that risk, they didn't like that so much.
Yeah, it could affect a company if they have more than 25 million under management and they have like over 500 investors, I believe, which is kind of part of crowdfunding, right? Is you're not just getting 25 million or 1 million from one investor, you're trying to get 1 million from 100 or 1,000 or whatever investors. Right. So, and there are ways around that to make it so that everyone just appears as one item on a cap table, which would make it so that you're not dealing with that avenue. But if you do it in a way where you have over 500 investors and you have over 25, then your reporting requirements do go up.
So SeedStarter is your company, right? Just you?
Yes, just me. Yeah.
So one of the things I want to highlight at some point during the cast, and I'm wondering if I want to ask this now because if things have changed, I didn't want to make us both look like idiots. One of the highlights to me, one of the things that I loved was the ability, if you can get on this platform and look around, and if you like something and it doesn't work out, you don't lose your money. So is that something we can talk about?
So I think, are you asking like if you after you've invested, or if you look around and you don't want to invest in it?
Right. So you decide you're on the platform, you're ready to go. The company pulls out, or it doesn't hit its goal, or anything like that.
If they rug,
without actually being maliciously rugging.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think what you're asking kind of is like if you like hop in and you feel that like immediate FOMO, I need to buy into this. And then before they've met their goal or before the time period ends, let's say it's 30 days or until they've raised $1 million. Yeah, you can pull your money out at any time until the round closes. Once it's closed, your money is theirs, right? And you get that stock interest, but you still have a time period from funding to when they set a time frame or a money amount that you can take your money back.
I want to make sure, because we talk about the little guy, in our conversations, and that I think is going to be a huge point for people, especially after, they've gone into this crypto space and they buy a monkey JPEG and suddenly, it's gone, before you know it. And
my monkey's gone. Where'd my monkey go?
I want to stress, that this isn't something that people have to rush into, and they're not just supposed to throw money at things and then end up losing it. So I want to ask a couple of questions around that. And if that had changed, I didn't, it's been a while since the ability to FOMO into something has been prevalent because
there's still
of the
no
market.
Investment advice, right?
No.
Yeah. Well, no. So people are starting to get that itch again, which is why I'm thinking about that. And I don't want people to think that this is something they have to rush out and do. Maybe explaining, hey, look, you can look around all you want. These companies are going to have big windows to look around with, and you don't have to rush into anything. This isn't something that you have to be the first to get into.
Yeah, and they're going to set their own timeframes. I mean, a company might come and say, look, we're only going to raise for one day. And that's fine. That's up to them. They're probably not going to meet their limits unless they're like, a massive company that everyone wants to invest in. Most companies are listed for like 2 weeks to 3 weeks. And if you invest in day one, as long as you take your money out by, that 3-week day, whenever that closing day is, you get it all back. You're not getting interest, but you're not losing anything as well.
So like Kickstarter in a way.
It's exactly Kickstarter, but where instead of like getting a product, you are an investor directly in the company that you fund.
I like this.
Yeah, we're going to throw out like very wide open-ended questions, and you can run with it as far as you want to run with it.
You're asking yourself for trouble, but all right.
No, it's all right. I want people to get a full understanding of this, and I want the gravity of what you're doing to hit them, because this is not like monkey JPEGs.
Well,
this
there's a lot of
serious stuff,
There's a lot of people in crypto that don't understand, in my opinion, what exactly securities are. I mean, there's certain people that do, but a lot of people in crypto, if they think that they're informed, they're going to say, oh, well, is this crypto security? No, then I don't want to be interested in it. I get the sense that, well, I mean, you do want them to be interested in crypto being a security in this case. And I think it sounds like it could even be a competitor to the better competitor to any crypto offering out there.
Yeah, well, I think that's going to, you've kind of hit your head, like the nail on the head with the hardest thing that is, with the crypto industry is being able to inform them that security does not equal bad. Security equals bad when you've illegally offered it. That's true. But if you are to file compliantly, and I know everyone thinks you can't, but it's really not that complicated, especially under Reg CF, to file and then issue a security. It's really simple. You're compliant, and you actually have protections. You have things that are there to protect you. Now, not everyone believes the government's always there to protect you, and I can see that argument, but there is a basic level of like, these are things that they have literally said, I promise you A, B, C, D, and E, and they have to meet those. And if they don't, you have a legitimate cause of action against them.
Can we dig into the regs a little bit to describe, not for you to, well, I don't know if you can describe or interpret. I don't think you can interpret, but you can describe, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping to at least get a little bit of education about the regs that have been opened up as well.
Yeah, so it's generally pretty simple in terms of, Reg CF is basically like an easy security offering. I don't know if you've ever seen like easy accounting forms, that people have to provide, but there's like the complicated accounting, and then it's literally the letters easy, and it's just like a simplified security offering. And it's basically saying, hey, for the companies that want to offer it this way, we're going to give you, all you need to do is file a Form C and file, every year, file something that kind of just is like an update. It's really simple. But in terms of what the user, the person who's buying is getting, they have to give you a document, which is the issuing document that literally outlines what you get or what you don't get. So it's really going to be up to you whether you read it or not, because that paper could literally say, haha, you get a monkey JPEG, you get nothing else. But, I probably wouldn't allow that on my platform because I read these documents as well.
You mean you can't have NFTs that are securities, or you don't want that?
No, you can. It's just like, I'm just saying we're not going to have documents, or hopefully people don't invest in a document that literally just says, haha, this is all you get. But there is a type of security that's literally like, hey, we know that we're creating this NFT. We know this NFT has no utility today, but we're going to sell you an investment contract. We're going to register it with the SEC. We're going to deliver you the NFT immediately after, but you now know that we're going to use the money you gave us to build the utility that we created. And that's literally, that's perfect.
I want you to say it exactly that way on the show.
Well, I have one last
exactly that way.
I have one last question, then we got to go to the show.
Sure.
Is regular art, like paintings, are those a security?
In what way? Like art can be a security, but
you can register it as the security. Yeah.
You can? So you could register the Mona Lisa as a security?
Well, no, I mean, the Mona Lisa,
want to.
Not that one, but like Jesse, if I paint like the Titan Lisa, I could register that as security.
Okay.
If I wanted to.
Orange
groves can be.
My understanding of art, just paintings in general, is that art is this wink, wink, nudge, nudge, kind of get around existing kind of laws. kind of thing. The whole art world seems to be like that.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends, though. Like, you can package anything as a security. I can dig up rocks in my backyard and package them as security. So anything can really be a security.
These will be worth more. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll ask that about on the show. I'm curious about certain requirements if you register as a security. Anyway,
yeah, inherently, art is not a security.
Inherently. Okay.
All right. You guys ready to move to the other channel there and get started?
Yeah. Thank you, Faz subscribers, all 5 million of you, for tuning in. And we'll be in the show, and I'll start things out once we get there.
That sounds good. Let me find the outro, and we'll make a move.
All right.